You know how it goes. Nothing works the way you want it to. Well, welcome. We're just going to look at Jamboard today. So this is a new feature in Google Meet that they've added, Jamboard. So I thought we could see how it looks and have some conversations about how we might use this when we're in a Google Meet. Now, you know me, I want to always have a Google Slides. I love Google Slides. So I use Google Slides when I'm using a Google Meet or a Zoom, and I want to set it on anyone can edit access. And that just gives me an option to let everybody participate. So when I make the Google Slides, I put the link, everyone has edit access. I have to do that intentionally, either by putting the Google Slides in Google Classroom with students can edit, that middle option, or I just go to the share button and I change the options to anyone can edit, or I copy paste all my student emails to give them specific edit access. But either way, I have to manually give them access. When now they have Jamboard built into Google Meet. So I'm going to just talk about it for a second. Do we want to use Jamboard or Google Slides? When do we want to use one over the other? And what are the advantages to taking advantage of this new tool? So I am in Google Meet as the moderator, owner of this meeting. I'm going to click the three dots in the little toolbar at the bottom, and I have the option to open a jam. Now, when I open a jam, it says, do I want to start a new one or choose one from Google Drive? What's awesome about Google Jam is a Google document, which means it saves to Google Drive, and I can find it anytime in my Google Drive. If I've already made a jamboard.google.com, go to jamboard.google.com, I can make a new jam, or I can go to Google Drive, do the create button under more, I can make a new jam. So what happens is when I click the three dots, it asks me, there's these 5 people in this meeting, and it defaults to access. Let me actually present my entire screen so you can see what this looks like. So I'm gonna click here, present now, and do my entire screen just for a minute so that I can do the 3 dots down in the corner. And I can go to Whiteboard, which is Jam. It says open a jam. And you'll see it says start a new one or choose from Drive. I'm going to start a new one. But if you want to have something pre-made and pre-structured, like I love to get the open middle questions and I want to have the format in there, then I would do that first. And then as you notice that it defaults to, it knows everybody in the meeting, and it says it gives them view access. So I want to switch it from view to edit. And I'm going to send. And you'll see over in the chat, you see in the chat that it says I have shared a jam file with this meeting over here in the chat. So all of you would have access to this through the chat window. You will notice you are not seeing my jam. It does not screen share. It simply shares the file. So I'm going to stop presenting. You need access. It should have given you access.
I have access.
This is interesting. Take this out of full screen. I am going to now present now a window. I'm going to do this one. Are you able to add a sticky note? So you'll see on the toolbar on the left, there is add sticky note in the middle. I'm just going to add my name to it. So Michelle's able to has access. Yeah, it probably is because you're in a school domain. You're right. So I'm going to go ahead and click the share button, and I'm going to change it to anyone with the link from viewer to editor. Done. So now all of you should have access. So, I mean, it's a Google Doc. It works a document. It works the exact same way as Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and the fact that it saves to Google Drive. It is a share button. It's the same sharing permissions as Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. So I like that because it's very familiar. Thank you, Marianne. You know,
You're
it's
welcome.
fun. It's fun to do the Post-it notes. And when you're asking people to participate, I mean, it's great to have kids just like, hey, put your answer in the chat. And I'll still do that. And chat can kind of work as a threaded discussion where everyone can put in their voice. But when it's so easy to create a jam, is just like, why don't you add your favorite number, give me a noun with yeah, proper noun. I don't know. I'm not an English teacher. I don't make assignments where I ask them to give me nouns. But one of the things you can do is just keep on the same whiteboard. So you'll see here it says clear frame, and then that will clear everything off. So I can just keep it on the same page. So if you could please give me a sticky note with your win of the week. Please add a sticky note with your win of the week. I'm gonna make mine crooked. So if you'll please add a sticky note. So it's a great way to get students or whoever's in your meeting to participate. It's a little more anonymous. It's anonymous. I don't think there's a version history. There's no version history in JAM. I really have no way of knowing who. You're on fall break. You are so lucky. I think they took away all of our vacations. We should just do 4-day weeks all of the time. Teaching is like so mentally draining, and you need a day to catch up to do all your grading and stuff. We should have 4-day weeks. That's my opinion. Ooh, choice boards. Cool. Nice. I don't know the Invisible String story.
It's a very nice book, a picture book.
It is translate chat. There we go. I'm glad that worked out, Kimberly. I'm excited. I have a girl who she's got 2 math classes and she was struggling in the other one. So I said I would meet with her, and I had to come back to, I only teach part-time, so I had to come back to school. I came during 4th period when she does this other math class and worked with her. And then she had detention, so I asked the principal if I could just keep working with her after school for detention. So he, of course, said yes. And she just said, you know, that her aunt had passed away and her aunt used to help her with math. So now she has me to help her with math. And that was really sweet. So that was my win of the week. Ooh, yes, Jamboard on the iPad is great. So if you're going to be using Jamboard on your phone is like the way to go. So I do have the Jamboard app on my phone. I'm going to open that up. Come here. And apps. Jamboard. And it's right there, and I'm on my phone, and you can see me on my phone with my laser pointer. And I'm going to add a sticky note. You know, this is Alice from my phone, so you can see that it's now added a note on there right from my phone. I think there's a lot of great advantages to using the phone app. So if you're going to be doing a meet, you might want to use your phone at the same time where you're using the Jamboard. So I would recommend that. You'll notice that in order for you to see the Jamboard, I had to present that window. So one of the things that happens is when I create a new jam, it opens in a different window. It doesn't open in a new tab unless you're full screen. I even tested this on the Chromebook. It opens up in a floating window so that you can share the window if you want to. So there's no way to pin the Post-it. I don't think you can.
How do we get our iPhone on there?
Okay, so you just install the Jamboard app on your phone. So you go to the App Store, find Jamboard, and then, you know, just like you would find any Google Doc, you would find the Jam. So because you're a guest on my Jam, and I didn't really share this with you, right? I gave you edit access. You probably won't find it in your Jamboard app. So you might want to just text it to yourself or email it to yourself, the link. So you can open the email, open the Jamboard in your Jam app on your phone. But if you're doing this as the teacher, it would be in your Google Drive. So it would be in your Jamboard app. So as the teacher, it'd be easy to access. Michelle, it might be in yours. I think yours did share with you. This shared with you. For those of you who are like outside of the domain and your domain doesn't let you do this with me, I think some of you didn't have edit access until I manually changed the edit access, so it was not explicitly shared with you. So in that case, it wasn't shared with you, so it's not in your Jamboard app, but it is pretty cool. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the upper center. You see it's got these rectangles in the upper center, and I click the right arrow, it creates a new frame. Now, of course, that requires that I tell the kids to navigate to frame 2. And I often say slide 2. They call them slides and frames in Jamboard, whatever. Underneath the rectangles, it expands out, and you can see all of the frames. So I'm actually going to take my second frame and make it the first frame. I'll explain, Marianne. Do you see I was able to just drag and swap? Can you see that? It shows, right?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Here's a tip. If you are using this informally, right? I've got the Jamboard just so that students can participate, contribute, and add some things while we're doing things together. Consider that when you add a new frame, see, I can just add it to the left. Let me see, this is second frame. And then on this other one, note, green, I'll say this is first frame. Just so I have something on it. When I click on the little drop down, you'll see there's a plus add frame in between each of the frames. So I can plus add frame to the left. So now my first frame is blank. What's the advantage to that? When they open it up, everything's on the same one because it's always the first one. Of course, once you're all in there, what frame are you on? You're all over the place. Can you find up at the top, you see how it has all the little pictures and things up at the top?
Mm-hmm.
Click on me. It should have jumped you to the frame that says Alice is here. So when I click the expand, so I can see all of them, I can tell that most of you are hanging out on slide 4. Now it shows that I'm on slide 4. I'm going to go back here to slide 1. If you click not there, but on here, like I click on the anonymous mink, I go to the anonymous mink slide. If I click on like Marianne, I go to where she's at. If you click on the little icon at the top, you jump to the frame that person is on.
Wow, it's pretty cool.
So I would definitely teach the students that trick is to know what your icon looks like. You're like, okay, guys, we're on slide 5, or we're on slide 1, or whatever. And it's frames, slides, say what you want. Don't, just click on my icon at the top and be on the same frame as me.
Are you the anonymous mink? Okay. How do I know which one I am? I don't see mine.
You would not see yours. You see your collaborators.
Okay.
So I don't see me, but I see you. And when I click on you, I go to the frame you're on.
Okay.
What I tell the students to do when we collaborate on Jamboard, you can only have 20 frames. So that's one of the minuses to doing Jamboard over doing slides. Slides, I can have as many slides as I want. Jamboard, I can only have 20 frames. I just structure my class that they just screenshot everything. Like they know they do something, they screenshot it, and at the end of the activity, they turn in their screenshots for like everything. So one of the things we could do is if you have 20 or less, wouldn't that be nice? You know, everyone can be on their own frame. They can use clear frame so they can draw on it and then take a screenshot, clear the frame, or they can use the 3 dots to save frame as image, which is essentially the same thing as taking a screenshot. I don't really care which one they do. Just capture your work. They can clear the frame and keep working or using the same canvas for their collaboration and things that they're doing the whole time if you're worried about running out of frames. You can close this down and then go to the 3 dots in the Meet and start a new one. Pretty sure I don't even have to close it down. 3 dots, open a jam. I'm going to start a new whiteboard. And I'm going to change it to edit access. And now I have 2 jams at the same time. So what you can easily do is ask a question, you collaborate together on the jam, and then just do the 3 dots and make another jam from the same meeting and just keep, instead of having them refresh when you ask a new question, you just do it in a new jam. It's not that big of a deal. Takes up no room in your Google Drive. You can just make a bunch of them.
Alice,
Yeah.
So you could actually just have pairs of students or triads collaborating on the same frame if you want to have them all have space, right?
It just really depends, right? If I'm just going to ask a question, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, are you tracking with me? I want them to all add a sticky note to the same frame. And then I'm going to want to clear the frame, because if we could just keep using the same one frame over and over again, you can see the wisdom in this, because trying to get them to move to where they're supposed to be is not as easy as just using the same one, right?
Right.
And obviously it depends on what you're trying to do. So
Yeah.
sometimes I want to make sure I keep a record of all the things that everyone did. So I want to add a new frame. So I can do that by expanding it and adding a frame to the left, or I can add another frame to the right, and I tell them go to frame 4. What I pretty much always, when I go to a new frame, I add a sticky note. And I have something on there that's identifiable besides it's frame 4. First of all, frame 4 could change. The kids could drag it to a new spot. I could drag it to a new spot. Adding a frame to the left will make slide 4 now slide 5, right? So if the first thing I do is I add I'm like, look, you know, looking for the yellow sticky note. It says chupacabra, or it has the question on it, or some sort of a prompt. I like to have something on the slide. And then I tell them, hey, why don't you click my picture up at the top, and that makes sure that they are on the slide or the frame that I am on. And I'm just going to do that based on whether or not I need to keep the old frames. So option 1, we just use one frame. And I have them participate, clear the frame. Participate, clear the frame. That's good if sticky notes work. If the question you ask and what you're doing with them will work with a sticky note, great. You know, and I could take my own screenshot, or I can 3 dots. Wait, this isn't screen sharing what I think it is. Let's try this again. Sorry, I made a new window and then I forgot that it wouldn't be sharing that window. So this is the second one. You can see I've got several frames up here. But I would want to have a sticky note. Some sort of a sticky note on any slide, because if I add another frame, slide 1 becomes slide 2. But regardless, even if I add frames at the end, so I'm going to add a frame at the end. And I'm going to add a pink sticky note. hurting cats. Am I wrong? I mean, how do you get all the kids in the same spot? Even if you're face to face and you want them to all go stand in the same corner, you know what I'm saying? Like physically, they can see all the kids going and standing in that corner, and you're still like, hey, can you go over there? Why don't you get up? Come join us over there in that corner. I don't care what grade level, AP stats, freshman algebra, it's hurting cats all the time. All right, well, now that we're virtual, it's hurting herds of cats. So, you know, we just have more patience, but then we also think, you know, why do I need them to move? So my strategy is a little more on just use the first one. Everyone adds their sticky note to the first one. And screen sharing it, we can see it, we can talk about it, and then clear the frame. And just keep using the same frame. Now, if a sticky note won't work, if I need them to use the drawing features, well then they're going to need to have their own. So I tell them, I have them add their own frame, right? They add their own frame, and then they add a sticky note to it. With their name. That's our norm. When they claim a frame, they add a sticky note with their name. And I've been having pretty good success with having them do that, because what I usually do is I will get like a New York Times, what's going on in this graph, or open middle problem or something pre-prepared. So I'm going to go to open middle. Hold on. Open middle, load it. It wants to. Let me find one real quick. I know you're not seeing it. Right.
I just discovered that Jam lets you do the division symbol, and that's freaking exciting in anything Google.
How did you do the, how do you do it? The keyboard shortcut?
Option slash. Yeah.
Okay, but not on the Chromebook.
Oh, it may not. May not.
So I use on my Mac, I mean, I teach geometry, so like 90 degrees. I'm on the right one, right? You guys can see this?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. You know, I use the option 0 all the time to do the degree symbol. And so then the kids are always like, Keeler, how do I add the degree symbol? And I went and looked it up for the Chromebook. Not easily. I'm like, copy and paste mine. So yes, for Mac, I can get the accents on my E's. I can get the degree symbols. And you said that you did option slash. There you go. I get the divide symbol in there. Not so much from the Chromebooks. So what I tend to do when I'm making like a Google Doc or Google Slides or something, even in Google Classroom, I'll just make all the symbols in there so they can copy and paste them when they want to use them.
Clever.
Yeah.
And where do you put them, in a doc or in announcements or something? Anywhere, right?
What do you mean? The
symbols
symbols?
for them. Yeah, for them to copy. What would be a good place to put them? Announcements or
Right. Okay. So I usually put them in the description of the Google Classroom assignment. Like you might want to use these symbols. If I have a directions document or some sort of like Google Slides that's a graphic organizer, then I'll put it in there.
okay.
Maybe make just a page of here these with a slash, you know, the accent mark. I know they have a name.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see on this one, I've got this open middle graphic. So then what I'll do is I expand it out and I do the 3 dots and I just duplicate it. And I just keep hitting duplicate. So once I create my graphic organizer in Jamboard, I just duplicate it. And then I can only do 20 frames. Remember, I can only do 20 frames. So I do it 20 times. See, it won't let me anymore. I've got 20.
But did you just cut and paste that from Open Middle?
What?
Sorry, did you just cut and paste it from Open Middle, or did you have to upload it?
I uploaded it. So I right click on the open middle picture, or I take a screenshot, but I right click, I save image as, it downloads, because for some weird reason, I can't drag pictures onto Jamboard like I can on docs and slides. I don't know, I can't. So you have to click the image icon and then drag the image onto there to search for it.
Okay.
But I will take the same graphic organizer, and then what I do is I tell the students, okay, go claim a frame by adding a sticky note with your name. And then I'm going to click on the frame sorter, and then I'm able to see at the top who's on what frame. You can't see it on this one, so let me switch. You guys are all in the old one, which is fine. I have 2 jams going right now. So that's kind of cool because I can just do as many as I want for whatever purpose I need. Since I'm limited to only 20 frames, starting a new one, each time I ask a question's not stupid. I just wish it would put the jam into the calendar invite since I made it from calendar. One thing I love about Google Meet is this recording will save right into the Google Meet, not the Google Meet, the Google Calendar event, so I can't lose it. So I think it should automatically add the jam to the calendar event, but it doesn't. Just so you know, it doesn't. Okay, so when I click on the frame sorter and I'm like, okay, well, let's look at Mary Ann's, I can see where Mary Ann is up in the frame sorter, and I can either click on her frame, or of course, I can just click on the icons along the top to go to the frame so I can share student work or I'm presenting.
Mm-hmm.
Jamboard's nice because it has this nice laser pointer. Look at this.
And
Right.
Bindi.
Questions about using Jamboard in a Google Meet meeting. What do I have to do to make sure I have access to this after the meeting? Nothing! That's the joy of life. A jam saves to Google Drive. So it's in Google Drive. So when I'm done with this and I have Zoom fatigue, I go for a walk, and then just later on when I want to do something with it, I can go find it in Google Drive. I can add it easily into Google Classroom because it's in Google Drive. Basically, the answer to all of life's problems is get it in Google Drive.
Alice, I'm sorry for coming late. I do have 2 questions.
Please ask.
When you do the text box, it always makes a small text box, and then you have to write your sentence, and then you have to drag it out. That's what I find I'm doing.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Exactly. You have to resize it, and then you can change the size, sort of.
Right.
You have limited options, which is better than the no options you used to have. The text box is a new feature.
That's great.
What
Yeah.
about
No text box.
So let's say I've done my 20 slides and I want to do another 20 slides.
Great.
What's the quickest way to get to
So I'm
another?
going to do the 3 dots in. Let me screen share my whole stinking screen right now. My entire screen. Here we go. And I'm going to do the 3 dots. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to do the 3 dots in the Meet. And you see where it says open a jam?
Oh, okay.
I can make a new one, or I can do one I've already created. Now, I usually have ones I've already made from Open Middle or whatever, U-cubed, something. It then says, hey, there's these 6 people in the meeting. I'm like, yeah, give them edit access and send. And you'll see that it opened up. I now have 3 jams. 1, 2, 3. From this meeting.
Okay.
So unlike slides, if I were to share collaborative slides, we just use the same slides the whole time. If I'm doing jam, every time I ask a question, I would probably make a new jam. Probably. There are definitely reasons I wouldn't, Because I'm just like, hey, add a sticky note. And I can just clear the frame and we can just keep using the same one. But at the point where I ask the students to get their own slides, I can certainly say, hey guys, clear your frame, here's your next question. That works. But if you wanted to preserve their work, if you didn't want them to erase it, then you just start a new jam. Now, be aware that you can only have 20 frames. So if you have 22 students, what are you going to do? You're going to make 2 jams. And you say, if you are A through M, use the first jam. If you are N through Z, use the second jam. Or, hey, if there's no room for you, go use the other one.
Mhm.
But it's good because, look, I can, I'm sharing my entire screen. I have a really big screen. I can just tile them and I can see if I have students doing small groups. If you're doing a breakout group, I'd want a jam per group. So I'd say, okay, go to your jam. Group 1, here's yours, and it shares to the chat. Group 2, here's yours, and it shares to the chat. Group 3, here's yours, and it shares to the chat. And then I've got these open and tiled on my screen while we have the breakout rooms that I can see them all working.
Alice, have you done a webinar on how to do breakout rooms with Google
They
Meet?
haven't come out yet, Brenda. They haven't come out yet. And you have to have enterprise.
Yeah, we have that.
That's good. I'm working on my district. So all you got to do to make another jam is 3 dots. Come here. 3 dots. Open a jam. And you can just keep making them all meeting long. Just make another jam. Just make another jam. You can see how nice that is opposed to making a Google Slides per group. This goes faster, easier. And it throws it in a new window, so I just have to tile all my windows. Get a good Chrome extension that automatically arranges all your windows for you.
What do you recommend for that?
There are 5 billion of them. Take your pick. Go to the Chrome web store and you just try one. But what you want is one that'll tile them all. Let me see if I have one. I have the window sizer, but I think that the window sizer just it just resizes this window. I use this one a lot, so it becomes YouTube sized. I know it would be faster if I used a Chrome extension to arrange my windows, but I usually just size them manually, to be honest with you. It's probably just because I'm fast with using technology. It would be better. It would be better if if you have the Alice Keeler open side by side, it automatically does side by side windows. The thing is, you got to make sure you're not in full screen mode or they don't snap. That's pretty much true for all of the extensions. I uninstalled them. I had like a whole bunch that I tried out, and then I uninstalled them just because I didn't want so many extensions. I don't have one I like over any other one. There's a bunch of them. They're all fine.
Okay.
Like how it does it, do another one. Any other Google Jamboard in a Google Meet questions? Oh, yes, Marianne.
Yeah. It's a Google Meet question. I was doing breakout rooms with Google Meet yesterday, and then for some reason I couldn't go into. I came out of one, and then when I went in, it says no one is there. And then another person that I shared the link to another breakout room couldn't get in. It says no one.
Are you using the official Google breakout rooms for enterprise, or
the free one, the Lookout extension breakout rooms?
I don't think you should install extensions for Meet, any of them. they do wacky things to your stuff. When things go wrong, I'm going to tell you, do you have Google Meet extensions? You're like, I do. I'm like, that's your problem. It's just going to cause problems. It's an extension. It's not a built-in feature to Google. So if we can get your school to get enterprise, which they should do, they just should, just for security reasons,
Okay.
they have the official one that works natively in Meet.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Thank you. And regarding Denise's question in the chat, is I don't know if you I may have missed the answer, but can the kids in breakout room can create their own jam?
I don't know. I don't have enterprise on this. This account is
Okay.
yeah, it's an EDU domain, but it's not enterprise, and I can't make it enterprise because it's my training domain. And so you have to contact a salesperson to get your account converted over to enterprise. So I bought Alice at alicekeeler.org. I don't have that set up right now, but I bought the business standard edition, which I think has breakout rooms. And I just bought it yesterday. So I just need some time to, first of all, I want to see if it works. And secondly, if I create the Meet here, can I do the breakout room on the other account?
Okay.
Time. That's a different webinar. Today's webinar is on Jamboard because that's universally available and now everybody has it. I like to wait until everybody has it because otherwise it's very frustrating. Like, I don't have it yet, and you're trying to learn how to use it and you don't have it yet, you know? So now that everyone has Jamboard, I think it's rolled out to everybody. That's what we're talking about today. We'll do breakout rooms once I feel like it's settled and people are ready to, everyone has it and we can talk about it. Of course, everybody won't have it because if you don't have enterprise, you won't have it.
Right. I'm curious if you have tried to do Google Scripts for breakout rooms or experiment with that.
I've done Google what?
Scripts, you know, the
No, I don't. The only way to do Google Meet for coding is on a Chrome extension, and I don't know how to code Chrome extensions. I'm sure it'd take me about 10 minutes to learn it. Shouldn't be much different than doing app script, but I just never have. Clay, he's super awesome. He's coded a bunch of really cool things. One of the attendance for Google Meet. And while I love Clay, I don't think you should install Google Meet extensions. That's, do what you want, but when things aren't working, that's probably your culprit. So he knows how to code it, but I don't.
Okay, so that's the ones you're doing is the Google Labs, and the other one is our extensions. Okay, thank you for the distinction.
Yeah, it's a subtle distinction. And I got flies.
I know. Thank you. These have been
all right.
Very helpful. Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Well,
Thank you, Alice.
And then you guys suggest what webinars and things that you want me to be doing. I'm going to finish up the newsletter for today for the premium membership, and I'll send that out hopefully here in the next hour or so. And then you can say what things do you want to learn and when do you want to learn it. And apparently they're all 2 hours off. So now I know I learned the hard way. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix my code. And I'm going to fix the code.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yay.
And Michelle, I moved your 7 a.m., 4 a.m. Hawaii time to 3 p.m. Pacific time for tomorrow. Is that what you want? So I think you're shared on it.
Oh, is that the pair deck?
Shared on it because you have a typo in your email. So let me fix that. .com. That one. Save. Send. So I'm gonna edit this, Michelle, so that you can modify the event. So if that's not the time you want, go ahead and just change it, and then I'll But do it now because I'm going to send out the email to everybody when they are this week. And so this way, they'll get the notification in time.
I want to make sure I have it straight. Is that related to the Pear Deck webinar tomorrow at 7?
Yeah.
It's
So
at 3 o'clock?
accidentally put AM instead of PM. So it was at 4 a.m. her time in Hawaii.
Okay.
So that
And-
made sense that we should move it. So so I just,
Such a productive time.
what did you say,
Okay.
Brenda?
It's such a productive time of the morning.
I know it is. I get up at 4 a.m. every day.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, the kids are asleep. I get most of my work done in the morning. And then I take a nap in the afternoon because I got up at 4 a.m. and now I'm tired after lunch. 10, 15, 20 minutes usually does me. And then I do a little more work, but then I'm just exhausted and it's time to spend time with my kids. So that's how my day usually goes. Hey. All right.
Thank you so much.
Stop the recording.